only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black History. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
R.I.P. to B.I.G. Classic. I'm looking for a nigga to give some babies, a handful of Wheezy, sprinkle of Dave East. Man, I ain't got no type like Jimmy and Sway Lee's, but if he can't fuck 3 times a night, peace. I tried to fuck 50 for a powerful hour, but all I wanna do is talk power for hours. Beat the poopy up, make sure it's a KO. Step your banks up like you moving that yayo. Somebody go and make sure Karuchi okay though. I heard she think I'm trying to get a Kupi to Quavo. They always wanna beat it up, goon up the poop. Man, maybe I should let them auto-tune up the poop. All these Bow Wow challenge niggas lying and shit. Many Fetty Wap stay eyeing my shit. Drake worth 100 million, always buying me shit. But I don't know if the poop wet though if he crying and shit. Meek still be in my DMs, I be having to duck him. I used to pray for times like this. Space X when I fuck him. Man, Uzi is my baby, he ain't taking the L. But he took it literally when I said go to hell. Used to fuck with Young Thug, I ain't addressing this shit. Caught him in my dressing room, still in dresses and shit. I used to get this new with a list of testers and shit. How you want the poop, you can't say your S's and shit.
Shout out to Nicki Minaj. I love that remake. I mean, when Biggie did it, it was crazy. It was kind of, got him a lot of attention. When Nicki flipped that and did that, people were like, oh, it's kind of disrespectful. And she's talking about men and relationships. Like, sometimes the stuff we decide to take seriously and the stuff that we brush off is crazy to me when you really think about it sometimes. It's clearly a song, just her flipping a classic song into her way. And, but anyway, Andy feels me on that. He does. Listen, welcome back into hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, of course, we're going to get into that Nicki Minaj, Katt Williams, and the boomerang effect of Black comedy is hot again. But will it last? And will we see the stage shows and performances to keep this going? Andy?
I don't know if it's on the agenda. I don't know if I'm stepping ahead. Maybe it's something that could be discussed at a later time. But since we're talking about Black comedy, I'm sure you're familiar with the tiff between Corey Holcomb and Donnell Rawlings.
So here's the thing. Like, I wanted to get into that and play it, but there's so many beeps. And, like, I feel like I'm doing you guys an injustice when every other word is bleep, 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 bleep. They are going back and forth at it. Again, this is a byproduct of the Katt Williams thing, low-key. And to give you a little bit of backstory on that, Corey Holcomb was on stage at the Laugh Factory here in Hollywood, LA. I believe it was Sunday night. And Donnell Rawlings had just left the stage. We know Donnell was Ashy Larry on the Dave Chappelle show. We've seen him in other things and bits. And for whatever reason, Corey was talking about Chappelle and Donnell a lot in his act. He called Donnell mid. Maybe, I don't think he called him mid. I think he said medium, maybe was the word he used. Basically, what he was trying to say is that Donnell is not really funny and that he kind of does safe comedy to a degree, right? And so they had a back and forth where Donnell was basically like, I've been on comedy stages from here to New York. You say I haven't been in the streets. I've been in the streets. Where have you been? And, you know, why are you just coming and taking shots? And Corey's like, you ugly, you bitter, why you yelling? Donnell is like, because I don't got a mic. I'm in the audience. So we will get into more of that. But what I think it sets up, and even Nicki Minaj throwing it, well, first, I want to say that, joking or serious, Nicki Minaj putting it out there that she wondered how much Katt Williams would charge to be on a tour tells me tickets aren't ticketing, right? That's one thing. I'm concerned for the Pink Friday tour. Album, really solid cuts. But one of the things I used to say early on with Nicki was her performing arts training in high school, her theater training, caused her to put on a pretty good show. I don't know what's happened in these past couple of years. Her show, she did say she was in rehearsal, but her shows haven't been showing from what I've seen. You know, we saw the bits from her at Essence Fest. She's been rolling on the ground, whatever. But one, I think that is an indication of how ticket sales are going. Two, she already has Monica on tour with her. And granted, Monica and Nicki are probably around the same age, about 40-ish. Monica's probably a little more than that. But I do wonder, who is her audience for this? Because Monica and Nicki Minaj, I mean, yeah, they go. Gunica. Excuse me. We all like our R&B moments. But I don't think as a concert tour, it's a fit. And I don't think as Nicki is reinserting herself into now a crowded female rapper landscape, and I like Monica, but I don't think it's a fit. I don't think that it works. You disagree with me, Andy? Okay.
I just think, to your point, and I hate to say it, but I feel like her time is running out.
And I think a great reason why her time is running out is reflective to her attitude early on and how she acted to Kim. It's not your time. I shouted you out, ma, but don't get too cocky with it. Instead of being, like, I saw an interview with Diana Ross, and this was from back in the day, and people were talking about that Diana at the time should be jealous of artists who were newer out at the time. It was Janet and Whitney, I believe they were referring to. And Diana was like, I'm mother. How could I ever be jealous of my children? And I really wish Nicki Minaj, as she sits in her queendom, would have taken that approach. And I know she worked with younger artists, but not involved the pettiness and the competitive, not the competitive, because I like a bit of competitive, but not the jealous aspect, because I think that it took her down a peg and now she's kind of out on her own island. She has people that are, kind of riding with her, but not really. I don't know. We'll have to see. But, I'm rooting for Nicki because she can spit. There were some bangers on Pink Friday, too. She just has to match up now, because the landscape is very, very different out there. And you got to bring us more, Nicki. And the longer you're in the game, the harder it is to sustain. So we need to see some differences. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to talk a little bit about these Black comedians, and are we on the crux of a Black comedic renaissance, or are we really seeing the demise of Black comedy before our eyes, and it's going someplace where we don't really want to see it? We'll get into that, plus more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we're talking about, Black comedy, and I feel as though this is the most conversation we've had as far as the comedy stage go. I'm not talking about Black comedic actors in that sense, although a lot of these individuals that are involved in this conversation certainly are comedic actors as well, but just about their stage shows. I think that comedy has gone through an interesting period. One, because of cell phones, we saw how that impacted, comedians getting the opportunity to work out their set on stage. It takes on a different life because although most clubs ban cell phones, although that doesn't seem to have been working as of lately, as we've seen, Dave Chappelle, Corey Holcomb and Donnell right now, Mike Epps, Monique Show, and a couple others. They've had to change how they work out their material and how fast they cycle through jokes. In the past, a comedian could put together a set and act and could tour for, at least a year on that material. That is definitely not the case anymore. But now there seems to be a renewed interest in comedy and comedians. A lot of the comedy that we have been sort of involved in has come from skits via Instagram, and so those comedians have been coming up. Your DC Young Flies, your Drewskis, your Desi Banks, etc., but still kind of different than the traditional monologue. You're up on stage with your mic, stalking the stage. So I wonder if a byproduct of all of this heat will be that more people take an active interest in seeing the comedy stage again, and if comedians will be allowed, I guess, a leverage more akin to what they used to get back in the day, where they have more space to make light of or turn our thinking around on complicated situations, because that's really a big thing of what comedy did. Took sometimes some very difficult, stressful, unpleasant situations and brought them to us in a funny, relatable way so that we could connect with the subject or materials differently. I don't know, obviously we've heard people say, well, listen, as times change, so should your approach, especially as far as something called comedy, because, things that were okay to say in the past are not anymore. And I think that that is true. But I also think that there is something healthy at times from laughing at some of the ridiculousness of some of the situations that we are exposed to in current times. So we'll have to see how it ultimately pairs out. We know that Katt has a show here in LA that is going to be a Netflix special. Hopefully it will be better than some of the last few ones. We hope all of this conversation and attention ends up into a product that we appreciate on stage. It's been a minute since I've heard someone talk about someone's stand-up routine and been like, that right there, that's a must miss. That's a special you really, really have to check out. Haven't heard that. Been a lot of disappointments from, some of the later things. Okay, listen, really quickly, we're almost to that time of year where spring break is about to come up. And we know that Miami Beach is known as spring break heaven, especially amongst the culture, right? We like to go to Miami Beach, little Cancun maybe, but Miami, we definitely hit it up, right? Well, Miami Beach officials have come up over the years with a bunch of different tactics to try and calm the party scene down on the beach, right? Well, now in March, they have a new approach and they're trying to get ahead of the game. So there are a series of new measures that will mean stiffer and more harsh consequences for acting out in Miami during spring break, right? The campaign has messaging that says Miami Beach is breaking up with spring break, right? And some of the copy and the advertisements have things that say stuff like, hey, spring break, we're over, right? So basically what they're saying is the strategy includes a flat $100 parking rate in all the city garages and parking lots, closure of the sidewalk cafes on Ocean Drive. Can you imagine walking down the beach in Miami and the cafes where you sit out, you're not allowed to do that? I mean, that's part of the fun in going. That's part of the people watching, the ambiance, right? But they're going to be closing a lot of them on the weekends. So March 7th through the 10th, there's going to be $100 parking rates and the closure of a great deal of the sidewalk cafes. And then again, from March 14th through the 17th, right? They also said that there's going to be DUI checkpoints, license plate readers, and the police chief says there is going to be more of a presence than you've ever seen before. It will be difficult to get here to our city, and once you get here, the expectation will be that you play by the rules. They also will be initiating curfews, although they haven't formally announced any. Do you think that this is enough to get spring breakers to move on from Miami Beach and for the beach to reclaim, I guess, their semblance of peace during spring break in March? And the thing is, do they care about that revenue drop? Apparently not, because they're trying to get them up, out the paint. So good luck, spring breakers. Maybe check into the next location you can go to. Wouldn't really suggest going internationally right now, though. That's just me. So listen, Lamar Odom, in a recent interview, said that people need to let go of the notion that there's a Kardashian curse. In addition to that, he said that really the Kardashians are a family that most can learn from. And of course, people are upset about this. Let's hear Lamar's comments.
Is there a Kardashian curse? I don't think so.
Same.
I don't think so.
My ratings would have been a lot better if you would have said yes.
No, if the curse is strength,
right,
and financial abundance and family strength, then yeah, they curse.
And you know what I love about them, man, is that they're a tight family,
they're a unit.
And
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I've been saying this the whole damn tour. I think every American family could learn from that family.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about,
they love each other.
Yeah, their tragedies in their family, or their down times in their family, and how they overcame all that.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't look up to that as a family, then you lost.
So, I think it's interesting. Something that, because I consider myself a bit of a Kardashian connoisseur to a degree, but I looked at some of the things that I saw as far as connection points in a lot of their relationships. And one of the things that always stood out to me with the men that they got involved with, save probably Reggie Bush and Chris Humphries, at least for Kim, was that a lot of the men didn't have a complete family unit. They didn't have a father in the home, or he was gone early. The mother figure might have been not as, sort of up to par. And I'm not just talking about the black men, although that initially was my assessment. But you look at Scott, Courtney's ex, that she has her 3 children with. His family situation was a little unstable. And generally, I noticed the men that they tend to get involved with seem to be lacking in that family era. And I've often said a lot of times, in addition to the clout that comes with men dating a Kardashian, is the men that get swept up in their situation are those that have a secret desire for that family unit. Kris Jenner comes in and she's the mom you probably wish you had in some instances. And I think, like, for me, the Kardashians and their family are similar to a lot of non-black families, white families, if you will, that I knew growing up, and how they interact with each other, the sisters' relationships, the closeness of the family. But I feel for a lot of black families, again, and I know, not trying to say that their family is better or that they're dysfunctional, is, their blues aren't, brighter or more vibrant than ours, and they're not darker either. So I just say that it's different in how the family brings in the relationships and how they communicate. And so I think for a lot of men, you think about Tyga, he didn't have a very strong family unit. We know Kanye, obviously, what happened with his parents and then the loss of his mom. I think that that is one of the reasons and one of the things that a lot of men get swept up in as far as the Kardashian allure, is that it is a true family unit. And a lot of these men did not come from situations like that, where it's like the whole family gets together at Christmas and we're all, in our cute matching pajamas and we decorate the whole thing. And I think that it is something that is very alluring, and people underestimate that. No matter what you think about them, they do work as a team. And we know that in some cases, there's a lot of crabs in a barrel that people seem to heap upon each other in cases sometimes of family when things get tough and there's fame in the mix. Thomas Outlaw in the chat says, nope, I still defy anyone to name a male that has walked into the house of Kardashian Jenner and walked out more profitable. No man has come out on the right side. Reggie Bush might have something to say about that. He didn't do too bad after he left the situation with them and went on. Thomas Outlaw also says, the Jenners profit, Kardashians profit. Maybe other women come up, but no man, especially famous men, end up right. I'm going to say the men do profit too. Now, listen, everybody leaves a little bit more scuffed up, but let's run through the list of guys. So Tristan Thompson obviously hasn't come out of this unscathed, but he wanted to be there, right? He wanted the allure and the attraction. He could have just been, a popular guy in Clutch Sports and LeBron's little, but he wanted that allure and that fame too. I mean, I think you have to look at what do you consider more profitable, if they were profitable in between. Tyga, right? Some of his better and more popular years were when he was with Kylie. And now, when's the last time we heard a hit from Tyga? I don't know. You know, Tyga has an OnlyFans that's doing numbers, but he didn't have to do that before. James Harden, he didn't come out better from dealing with Khloe. He actually said that it was a mistake for him, but I don't buy the fact that all of these men are innocent little victims being taken over by the coven of Kardashian. I think that's BS. I think that these men want and are attracted to a lot of the things, much like how people look at women and say that they act around, wealthy men of means or whatever, and what they're looking for. I think these men are the same way with the Kardashians because they've never known a family with that much wealth and power. Usually they are the biggest attractions, and when you step in with a Kardashian, that's a machine on a whole nother level. And even if it's temporarily, they've all seen a boost in their social profile. Certainly their social numbers come to, pass. So, it's a toss-up. What are you willing to give up for that extra bit of clout? It's been a long time. We've had Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I think, ran for almost 20 seasons. And now we have the Kardashians on Hulu. So it's not as if people are unaware of the situation that they're getting into. They want to try it for themselves. They want to get a little bit of the shine. It's just what it is. Kendi says, I love the Kardashians. Anyone hating them gets the side eye. Do you hate them do you hate them? Do you love them, Kendi, even though Kanye has had a lot to say about the family since the divorce? What are your feelings about that? So I guess suffice it to say, I feel like, and it's interesting too, because Lamar, obviously Khloe, nursed Lamar back to health after he had his incident. But there was a period of time when I guess maybe he was just bitter when Lamar was swearing that there was some type of Kardashian curse. Lamar's life, a lot of the things that happened with him were choices that he made in and of itself. But what I can say is that Lamar definitely wanted that reality show fame. He definitely wanted to be in a power couple situation with a woman. Did he get more than he asked for? Yeah, but he definitely wanted that push, and he got it. Whether or not now what we feel about it and what ultimately happened, some of the things with Lamar, are generational things related to how he grew up. So it's just what it is, man. They're certainly not going anyplace, and we'll see what happens to Odell Beckham Jr. He is not at the apex of his football career right now, but we'll see what happens with dating Kim. Anyway, we have more trending topics for you coming up on the other side. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Fighting my shit. Talking about, why you got these niggas fighting this shit? On the real, I should make these niggas scrap for the poop. Young and main lady luck, get the strap for this poop. And I would've had Odell Beckham banging the cake till I saw him hopping out of cars, dancing to Drake. I been a 5-star big man, word to Gotti. I'ma do that future dirty, word to Scotty. Had to cancel DJ Khaled, boy, we ain't speaking. Ain't no fat nigga telling me what he ain't eating. YG in the game with the hammer yelling gang gang. This ain't what I meant when I said a gang bang. Tekashi won the Minaj, I said Treyway. Curved him and went to Kim and Kanye way. M cop the Barbie dream house, then you can play the part. I ain't trying to bust it open in the trailer park.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The mayor of Atlanta is running for a second term. Andre Dickens announced his re-election campaign to reporters, saying he loves being the mayor of Atlanta and has wanted the job since he was 16 years old. Dickens, who is black, first became mayor back in 2021, defeating Felicia Moore with more than 60% of the vote. Dickens says he's up for the challenge of re-election and hopes to continue his goals of bringing more affordable housing to the homeless in Atlanta. The mayoral election is in 2025. Atlanta voters will have a chance to decide on whether or not to increase a 1-cent sales tax this spring. The city council voted to put the measure on the ballot in May, which would provide more money for water and sewer improvements across the city. Former Mayor Shirley Franklin, who is black, first led the way on the penny tax for water 2 decades ago. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans and will help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So, if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, home of the 2024 Climate Justice Campaign.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Psst. Hey,
have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness. From my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Why are we getting blessed with the New Kids on the Block revival, Andy? You just feeling it? You just moving? The spirit of Boston is moving through you. Shame on you. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to New Kids on the Block. I actually did, Please Don't Go Girl was my jam. And initially, I believe that was their first single. I did not know that they were some white boys. And I was thoroughly... Come on.
Do you have to leave? I just can't live without you. So listen to me.
See, that's the problem, Andy. Men don't talk to women on the track no more. Come on. And we don't have this sweet, innocent love either. They're asking for inappropriate things in junior high school. You know this song was written for New Edition. It was. Come on. I mean, I know technically that is not R&B, but we don't even have pop like that anymore. We need the love. We need the sweetness, the flowers, the sunshine, the cake. We're always so depressed in these things. You stressing me out or you cheating, some other girls looking at you. What happened to the lightheartedness?
So, New Kids on the Block, they're from Boston?
Yes.
Interesting.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Them and New Edition. Come on, Donnie Wahlberg, Marky Mark. You know Mark Wahlberg.
I know about. You're right. What's the other dude who came out with a song in 99, I believe?
From Boston?
He was on New Kids on the Block. Jordan something?
Oh,
Jordan
no,
Knight.
Jordan Knight. Jordan was from New Kids on the Block, or he was from
He wasn't no NSYNC or anybody else.
Oh, I guess he was.
My understanding, he was from New Kids on the Block.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I forgot about Jordan. Listen, New Kids on the Block, they, Donnie, he was the kind of street rapper one. Then you had the Boy Next Door type and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And Donnie Wahlberg's doing movies now, right?
He is.
Hold on. Mark Wahlberg was a part of them too?
I mean, Mark is Donnie's little brother, so he was in the group, but not on any of this music that came out. He was never in the group as we were introduced to.
Because I know him as Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah, Good Vibrations. He doesn't like to speak about that at all.
That was a great time, man. I don't know why.
Good vibration. That's such a 90s song, just with I don't remember the name of the woman that was singing on the chorus, but with those vibes sounding like Martha Wash. Come on. Get up. What he did for Calvin Klein underwear back in the day. And I honestly, I don't need, this is so irrelevant, but just in general, I really liked Entourage. And we know that was based off of Marky Mark's life early, whatever. But, I would love to see Mark Wahlberg play a rapper-esque role. I think he would kill. I don't know if he would do it at this point in his career because he's so far removed from that life, especially because we know, he was a juvenile delinquent during that time period, and there was a crime that he participated in that, people very much will tell you in a heartbeat Mark Wahlberg is racist, and he was convicted of a pretty heinous event with a man that he has since apologized for. That's up for you to decide if you forgive him or if you believe him as his current state. But I would like to see him dive into that. But he is, very religious now and, has a different approach, moved out of California, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, shout out to New Kids on the Block and Andy for bringing back that memory, that run it back. What was that, like 87, 88? That's like really, really almost 40 years ago, I feel. 87. My God. That's crazy. Donnie Wahlberg, is he almost 60? He's got to be up there too. Hey, pretty thing. Well, speaking of making different life choices and different decisions, Shaq is still out here on his you better appreciate what you have before it's gone, especially as a retired athlete tour. So he has the big podcast, and recently he was talking with Travis Kelce's brother, Jason, who's just recently announced his retirement, right? And they were discussing what Jason's life would be once he retired from football, life after football. And Shaq gave him a couple of, heartfelt pieces of advice. He said, "My advice to you is if you're going to retire, accept it and enjoy your family. I made a lot of dumb mistakes to where I lost my family and I didn't have anybody. That's not the case for you. Enjoy your beautiful wife, enjoy your beautiful kids, and never dwell on what we had." He means what we had as far as athletes and that life. What we had is what we got. You got the ring. People know who you are. Enjoy it. He went on to say that, I was an idiot. I lost my whole family. Been in a 100,000 square foot house by myself. But again, the way I was raised, stop, man up, deal with it. That's my advice to you. We know that Shaq has been talking quite a bit about regret, especially in the past year and a half, 2 years or so since Shawnee has gotten engaged and married, and said that it is her forever marriage. And, I guess it's good advice to people. Monique said don't take no advice from Shaq because Shaq doesn't have anybody. And Shaq, when convenient, will say, I don't have anybody. I'm in this 100,000 square foot house alone. However, when he responded to Monique, he said, Monique, alone, come on. So I guess what he's saying is he has company, but none of the company is worthy and worthwhile of, him really opening up to, because we know he doesn't do that either. Urban Spencer in the chat says, Good Vibrations sampled Love Sensation, a house music disco song sung by Lolita Holloway. Well, there it is right there. That is why the sample always, or did I know it was a sample? Probably not. But why it sounds very much like, early 90s house stuff. Because you think about what else was out then. Black Box, Everybody. I think that might have been Martha Wash singing that too. You think about that song Snap, I've Got the Power. They all had, up-tempo beats, lots of hi-hats, and, that gruff singing, deep, soul-stirring voice, but over a dance track. So, shout out to 90s house music, man. Listen, I'm trying to think if I want to talk about this story now or if I want to hold it. I think I do. So when we come forward, I'm going to give you the breakdown. I mentioned this briefly last night that there's a TikTok trend going around about who the heck, that's me saying heck, did I marry? And one particular story has captured a lot of people's interest, and it was a 50-part TikTok story. Well, you know me, I'm gonna give you the cliff notes and the breakdown of it, and also share with you how much money she made from TikTok, from the views. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, TikTok fans, there's a user, her name is Risatisa. And recently, her 50-part story about the man that she married, they met during the pandemic, has gone more than viral. It sparked conversation. So her story, it had a bunch of twists and turns, right? But basically, she described the man that she was dealing with as a pathological liar, right? The TikToks all put together is about 10 hours worth of content, including an hour-long live chat, right? It has millions of views so far in the conversation, but you know me, I'm going to help you guys out. So I'm going to give you the cliff notes of it, the quick breakdown. So basically, Tisa is an Atlanta woman, and she said that she met a man who she refers to as Legion in March 2020 on Facebook dating, right? She said they also matched on Hinge. Things started off really promising during the first date. She said that something crazy happened on the way. Her car ended up breaking down, and he ended up coming to pick her up and paid for the car repairs. She was like, oh my God, this is my husband, right? She was under the impression that the gentleman used to play arena football, and that he worked for Apple, and that he had recently moved to Atlanta from California to become the VP of a condiment company, right? Condiments meaning, she could be talking about ketchup, mustard, whatever. She didn't want to be specific, right? She said that they planned on buying a home together during the pandemic, and that Legion assured her that he had numerous savings accounts and investments that would cover them financially. They got married in January of 2021, but were divorced by June of the same year. So, they went as far as going to look for houses. He put in an offer for an all-cash payment. I believe she said the house was $700,000, but a couple of different things happened. They wanted the owner to finish the basement, so the owner and the realtor ended up pulling out the deal, but she says she doesn't know how he would have covered it. She said while they were together, he paid all of the bills, and he was a VP. He would pretend he would be on the phone having conversations with his brother, passing messages back and forth, friends. He hadn't talked to his brother, they said, in 8 years. So all of the time when he would be sitting there having these conversations with her and passing messages, there would be no one on the phone. It wasn't a real conversation. Let me tell you what Legion's job really was. He was a temp worker and drove a forklift temporarily, right? He was using fake social security numbers, falsified bank documents. He did show her money in an account when he made the all cash offer for the home, so she thought that they were straight, right? She said that he gave her falsified bank documents again for the deal for the home that never panned out. She found out that he actually was on probation for things like criminal trespassing, impersonation of an officer, and that his family basically no longer speaks to him because he was a pathological liar. She also found out that he said that he had an ex-wife and that he had lost a child, but that wasn't true. Basically, he did have someone that he used to deal with, and he was close with their kids, but they did not like him. And I think he had told her something happened, that the child passed away, and they sent money to the individual, but that is not really what happened. She said, I need to forgive myself because maybe I shouldn't say forgive myself for being dumb, but definitely forgive myself for, being open and trusting. She said, would you rather be right and married than obedient and patient, right? She also broke down that his real name, which social media, she didn't break this down. Social media users managed to find and figure out his identity and discover that his name was Jerome. There's several other things that she mentioned in the story that he lied about and how he was moving. But she does admit that she was desperate to be married, and that maybe she didn't look at the red flags as closely as she should, because in her words, there was a United Nations of flags that she should have paid attention to. She said that she shared her story as a cautionary tale, But that cautionary tale gained her millions of followers in a week. And, TikTok pays for views and engagements on some accounts, especially if they rack up fast in a certain time period. So it has been estimated that by revealing her 10 hours worth of pain for that 2-year marriage and relationship, which she also states that she is happy now, but is very sad that she was pregnant and did end up losing the baby. But she said she is so thankful and that God moves in mysterious ways and guides and protects her, that she is not permanently attached to him. But it is estimated that she earned about between $200,000 and $400,000 on TikTok for sharing her pain with the world. So, crime doesn't pay, but tears certainly might if you get into the right groove and algorithm on social media. So good luck to her. Speaking of Hinge, since she said that they also matched on Hinge as well as Facebook dating, Hinge, Tinder, and a few other dating apps are now facing a lawsuit because they are addictive. So in a recent news report, it said a lawsuit was filed against their parent company, Match Group, which started from Match.com. And they have gone around, obviously, and bought up several of these dating sites. So the suit was filed in federal court in the Northern District of California on Valentine's Day. And the complaint says that Match intentionally designed its dating platforms with game-like features that lock users into a perpetual pay-to-play loop that prioritizes profits over the promise to help users find real and sustainable relationships. The dating apps make money when users pay for a subscription, which unlocks additional features that promise more engagement and better matching potential. The lawsuit claims that the design of the dating apps has turned users into addicts who purchase ever more expensive subscriptions, but with no real developments in the love area. I've never been on Hinge. I didn't know that these things were that addicting. I heard some people saying that you can join these things and you'll be on a date almost every night of the week. But are these people serious? Are they really dates, or are they just, let me see how many people I can hook up with quickly? Curious to see how this lawsuit turns out, because we know that social media has addictive qualities. So it stands to reason that some of these apps, and especially some that play on the lonely or the desperate, not unlike Teresa in our last story, might do some things to keep us engaged and keep us hooked. We'll have to see. Okay, and last story for the night. Quentin Tarantino is opening up a coffee shop here in LA, and it's a shout out to Pam Grier and one of her most iconic roles. It's called Pam's Coffee. So I hope that Pam is getting a check to this, because though it is nice to be acknowledged, checks are nice too. Listen, thank you for locking in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. We always appreciate you VIPs. On the other side, you will hear the best of KBLA. Have an amazing night.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica,